With CBS4. I have loved being the MC of the Women's Foundation of Colorado's annual luncheon for a decade now. The foundation has worked hard to bring you a high-energy virtual program in 2020 that brings the inspiration that you've come to expect all in 1 hour. You won't want to miss any of it. So grab your food and your drinks and settle in. We're going to get started in just a few seconds. Please welcome 14-year-old singing sensation straight from Denver, Raquel Garcia.
Hi, I'm Kelly Duke, co-chair of the Women's Foundation of Colorado's 2020 Annual Luncheon.
And I'm Simone Ross, also co-chair of the Annual Luncheon. Thank you for joining us virtually.
The Women's Foundation of Colorado is the only statewide community foundation focused on the economic advancement of Colorado women and their families. We are driven by a vision of a future where women and girls of every background and identity prosper. To me, as co-chair of the foundation and as a trustee, that means ensuring my daughter will grow up with an equal opportunity to be economically secure and fulfill her dreams. How about you, Simone?
You know, when I hear a future where women and girls of every background and identity prosper, I think of the tagline, Women Thriving, Colorado Rising. If my daughter is given access and opportunity to reach her fullest potential, she benefits, my son benefits, everyone benefits. Thousands of you who share our vision and our love of humankind, women and families, and Colorado are joining our luncheon virtually. Hey, Sterling, Pueblo, Denver, and Durango, just to name a few places. Welcome. We can't wait for you to meet several extraordinary women during our program, including local legends, Colorado sheroes, and many more who will inspire you.
First, let's show you how we do what we do. Take a look at this video that explains how the Women's Foundation of Colorado impacts women and families in our state.
For the women and families across Colorado and the country, the time for change is now. Why wait for our time to come? The Women's Foundation of Colorado is your partner in moving women forward faster. Our big picture goal is a future where women and girls of every background and identity thrive. So we're taking a big picture approach. As the only community foundation in Colorado focused on women, we clear paths to economic security and build bridges to opportunity. WFCO asks the right questions to understand the challenges all Colorado women face, using research to find solutions that stick. Then, on one level, we pursue powerful legislation and amplify women's voices at the Capitol. And on another level, we fund community programs across the state that provide childcare, education, job training, and other essentials for their success. Our Wages program brings together grantee partners working at both the Capitol and in communities to share what we learn and innovate together so we can use the most effective tools to propel more women into careers that lead to lasting stability for their families. Putting all the pieces together, WFCO is creating an equitable Colorado for all 2.8 million women and girls who live here. But we can't do this work alone. We have to come together now to build the future we want. The space for all of us is here to give, engage, and make real change. Let's make this our moment to create a movement. Are you with us? Visit WFCO.org to get involved today.
Today, we celebrate love of community, kindness, compassion, and generosity. The power of our collective humanity on behalf of Colorado women and their families is always unstoppable. I'm Lauren Castile. I'm honored to have been president and CEO of your Women's Foundation of Colorado for the past 5 years. I'm fortunate to partner with an extraordinary staff and dedicated board. Using mission and values-driven best practices, we built a stronger infrastructure on the foundation of our deep history. At the same time, we stepped into innovation in our research, public policy, and grant making. I'm proud to embark on research in 2020 that will reveal the benefits of investing in women and the consequences when we don't. We'll mine for the deepest intersectional and statewide data. During the complex past legislative session, several bills we supported passed, including bolstering the early care and education workforce, providing paid sick leave for all Coloradans, and improving accountability in law enforcement agencies. Furthermore, our direct service wages grantees reported 25% of their participants made tangible employment gains, and 46% reached their educational goals. We also reaffirmed our clear commitment to racial equity and access to the full range of reproductive health, information, care, and justice. Our economy won't reach full capacity unless it works, truly works, for all women and their families. Whether you are among friends and family or watching as a party of one, your joining us matters to me and all of the Women's Foundation. We can't fully impact today or tomorrow alone. And what does that impact look like? Watch it come to life as we revisit April's story.
I was raised in a single-family home. I had 4 sisters, so there's 5 of us girls. My family life was not too structured. My mother was never, ever home. I think the biggest part I went to school was to eat, because I knew that I wasn't gonna have food at home. Providing for my son and giving him a better life than I had was a big motivator to go to school. The summer in between junior and senior year of school, I was completely out of money. Project Self-Sufficiency helped me realize that sometimes taking a step back is the better way to go than to keep going in the wrong direction.
Project Self-Sufficiency is a great example of a Women's Foundation partner who is providing great opportunities for women throughout the entire state of Colorado. They serve women, they serve their families, and they serve other vulnerable populations. To be able to have the support from organizations like Project Self-Sufficiency and the Women's Foundation of Colorado really does impact her life and the life of her son.
I really love saying that I am the first person in my family to go to college. Where I am now is just amazing. I am proud to say that I am an environmental engineer and I am no longer in need of public assistance. And I'm so proud that my journey has brought me this far and let me live this type of lifestyle.
Hello everyone, this is April, and I would love to share with you where Evan and I are at since 2016, where we made our last video. Currently, we live in the city of Fort Collins, and Evan will be graduating 8th grade this year. I'm so very proud of him. I work for the city of Greeley in community development. I was recently promoted, and I get to use my engineering degree that I got from CSU to approve construction drawings for water and sewer infrastructure design. I am also studying for my professional engineering exam, which will give me another promotion once I am a professional engineer. I wanted to share my gratitude that I have for Project Self-Sufficiency and the Women's Foundation for helping my family become financially stable.
So I joined the Empowerment Council in part because I wanted to give to an organization I believed in, and in part because I wanted the experience of connecting with other women who feel the same way I do about moving the needle for women. I feel like I'm making a difference. We need to pick up speed about making a difference for women.
Empowerment Council is an amazing group of women, amazing emerging philanthropists who are committed to gender equity, who are committed to women's advancement, to make an impact in their communities, therefore the world.
Dads for Daughters brings men together to support all Colorado women. I became a real strong advocate for my daughters and for the women in my life. And when women aren't thriving and girls aren't thriving, our society is not thriving.
Dads for Daughters is a giving program to help men get involved with the Women's Foundation to honor their own daughters, and it's also a way for them to help women and girls in Colorado that are not as fortunate as their own daughters. I believe no one's daughter should have to wait for equal pay. No one's mother should have to choose between paying for childcare or paying for rent.
PEP members are a group of diverse and passionate men and women who are committed to sustaining the Women's Foundation. Being a PEP member makes me a much more informed philanthropist.
I find it so powerful to be able to give a sustained gift that I know will have impact over time, meaning that I donate and give $1,000 a year for 3 years. I personally choose to give about $83 a month. That's what works for my family, but I know a lot of other donors pay that off annually or monthly, quarterly. I love going to PEP events. I learn inside scoop about what's happening with public policy, and I love having access to grantees who are on the ground doing the work.
Thank you for supporting the Women's Foundation of Colorado.
Where do you
if a bank didn't fit the stereotype? What if a bank and the people that worked in it looked like you? What if this same bank believed in an inclusive world where everyone was treated with the same respect and was given a chance to thrive? What if they supported who you love, your values, and believed in empowering everyone? Where demographic diversity and diversity of thought are equally important for growth and innovation. When First Bank launched its new tagline, Banking for Good, it wasn't just referring to doing right by customers and communities. It was referring to doing right by employees and showing that inclusion is an organization's most powerful asset. The company has created a culture, programs, and benefits that enable everyone, no matter their race, background, or beliefs, to succeed. What it found was that diversity, especially at the management level, enhances performance, drives more innovation, and results in higher customer satisfaction and job satisfaction than ever thought possible.
Together, we will continue to build a culture of collaboration that drives our purpose, harnesses the power of our diverse business to innovate, and empowers responsible citizenship to achieve the highest performance. Because this is where it all begins. And together, we're just getting started.
Every year, the Dottie Lamb Leadership Award honors a young woman's commitment to advancing and accelerating opportunities for women all across the state. We celebrate her resilience and leadership on her own path to economic security. So please welcome our 2020 Dottie Lamb Leadership Award winner, Clarissa Jaime Gonzalez.
My story begins long before I learned to speak. In 2006, my parents decided their home country wouldn't be the right place to raise their 3 daughters. Escaping a world of poverty, addiction, and crime in Mexico led them here. But a chance at the American dream didn't guarantee a life of comfort. 10 years later, our American dream was slowly being torn apart by my father's addiction. I began my freshman year trying to adjust to the intensity of a high school. Yet my mind drifted to the fear of returning home each day. Opening the door to our apartment after school was daunting. I could only imagine one thing: my lifeless father on the living room floor. Weekdays were full of sleepless nights. I became my father's guardian. I awoke several times each night to check that my father was breathing. I filled those dark nights studying. This was my life. A few months later, my father unexpectedly returned to Mexico. Weeks before his departure, he experienced an alcohol withdrawal delirium that ended with several cop cars outside of our apartment. His absence created a new set of struggles. My mother took on a physically exhausting work schedule that still didn't provide enough money for groceries. Although I lived in a food insecure household with an absent father and an overworked mother, I possessed an invaluable attribute: determination. I was adamant that I wouldn't give up on my American dream. I was determined to change the course of my family's life through my commitment to education. Education served as my outlet. I was eager to be at the forefront of change. In my junior year, I joined STEM Blazers, a nonprofit encouraging girls to seek a career in STEM. I had finally found an intellectually stimulating environment where my raised hand wasn't ignored. STEM Blazers offered me a community of extraordinary women who believed in my potential. At our meetings, I was doing more than learning. I was dismantling my own self-doubt. the most prominent characteristics of my identity weren't viewed as impediments, rather as beneficial factors that would allow me to evolve into an extraordinary engineer. Without the support I received along the way, I would have felt incapable of achieving success. The individuals and organizations that believed in my potential have collectively influenced my desire to impact other first-gen, low-income students. My aspirations to transform the world wouldn't have seemed achievable without the encouragement of the adults around me. My story of resilience has been shaped by selfless individuals. All it takes to empower the next generation is one person who provides a system of support and encouragement. A student's personal circumstances doesn't determine their future, but a community that reassures them about the power of their capabilities does. As I set sail on my educational journey to pursue engineering at Stanford University, I'm overcome with excitement about the endless possibilities. I'm creating a pathway for students like me, students who never envisioned breaking the cycle of poverty and addiction. I'm at the forefront of incredible change. Thank you to the Women's Foundation of Colorado for believing in the promise of women of every background and identity. And thank you to everyone watching the Luncheon and supporting the foundation. You could be that one person who completely changes the course of someone's life.
Thank you so much for being here today. I want to tell you a story. It's a story about why I'm on the board of trustees for the Women's Foundation of Colorado, why I choose to give to the Women's Foundation of Colorado. And it's a story about a young girl that I knew. All these years ago, I met this young girl. She was powerful and smart and a good student. She had so many dreams. And she was also pregnant at 16 years old. And I remember her feeling like life was over, like life was going to change forever. I remember people around her telling her that everything had to change now. Your dreams for college and your dreams for your career and your dreams to dance, they're all over. Everything has to change because of this moment in time. And I remember her finding people to tell her, no, wait a second. We're going to invest in you. We're not going to give up. You have all of this inside of you. And she needed people to say, hey, you've got this. She got a huge philanthropic scholarship to go to college. Her and her son did it together. She had this precious baby boy, and she just kept working. And people kept supporting her and kept investing in her, their dollars, their time. She went on to become the youngest chief financial officer in a State Department's history. She was the youngest vice president in a Fortune 50 company. She started her own company and stood on stages all over the world. She went on to become things she never even dreamed of, even prior to getting pregnant. She had so many people who said, I'm going to invest in you. I'm going to remind you of how powerful you are and how much you can change the world. She had so many people that said, tell your story. This little girl was so precious. This little girl was me. 18 years ago, people invested in me the way we are all here today to invest in the next generation of young girls and women. I'm here to give back in the way I was given so much, the way people reminded me of who I am and who I could be before I even knew it myself. I hope you're here for that too. I want to say thank you on behalf of every teen mom, on behalf of every young girl who thinks my environment means I have to change my dreams. My environment means I can't do it, I can't be. And we're all here to say no. We stand behind you. We stand behind your dreams just the way we are. We stand behind your story of falling down and getting back up and the fight that you continue to do. We stand behind the fact that when we invest in young women and girls, they invest. When they become who they want to be, they turn around and they take the hand and they give back. That's why we're here today. It's certainly why I'm here today. I want to say thank you for being here today. Thank you for investing in someone like me. And I will hope that you will give today with that in mind, with the investment in mind, knowing that there will be another young woman standing here in front of us in 10 years from now saying thank you for your investment. So give with me. And thank you for your time and investment in the Women's Foundation of Colorado. I'm a proud, proud Board of Trustee member. And thank you for investing in women and girls of Colorado.
Hi again, it's Karen Lee. You heard Danielle. It is that time in the program to set down your food and your drinks and pick up a pen or get ready to click. If you're at a house party, your host will have a giving envelope there for you. Well, once you've finished filling them out, please pass them back to your host. You can also pick up your phone or device and go to WFCO.org/give to make a gift online. WFCO donors Rose Andom and Miriam George Sissel have generously offered to match every dollar donated up to $100,000. It's up to us to make sure that no dollars are left on the table. The Women's Foundation appreciates the significance of every dollar. And while you make your donations, we hope that you enjoy these sponsor messages.
At BOK Financial Private Wealth, we help families invest in their future. But our mission is to also invest in our community's future. And that's why we support the Women's Foundation of Colorado.
We invest our capital in projects where we expect a high return on investment. There's no doubt that investing in women and women's related causes will pay high dividends in our community and beyond.
Thank you, Women's Foundation, for all your work to build economic vitality and prosperity.
Hello, my name is Alice Jackson, and I have the pleasure of serving as the president of Xcel Energy Colorado. For over 150 years, our company has had the honor of serving customers across our great state with electric and natural gas services. Now more than ever, we recognize that those very services are essential for our customers to continue their livelihood as well as to maintain their comfort. We've committed $20 million of new funding to support short and long-term corporate giving, as well as recovery from the pandemic. Additionally, our employees here in the state of Colorado were able to participate in a 2-for-1 matching campaign, in which employees combined with the company match contributed over $140,000 to 115 nonprofits across the state of Colorado. These efforts are in addition to the $1.2 million that our Xcel Energy Foundation contributed to over 85 Colorado nonprofits. And Xcel Energy is committed to delivering the reliable, affordable, clean energy our customers depend on. This truly is about you, it's about us, and it's about doing this together.
I'm Barbara Bridges, founder of Women Plus Film at the Denver Film Society and past board chair of the Women's Foundation of Colorado. These two organizations love to partner to tell the stories of women we see on the movie screen and the stories of women whose lives have been impacted by the incredible work of the Women's Foundation.
Can you believe donations are being matched?
I know, it's incredible.
Before you top off your drink, don't forget, fill out that envelope or go online and give.
Your gift matters. Wait until you see what's next.
The challenge of the last few months brought out the best in the women of Colorado. The Women's Foundation would like to recognize these women, who we call sheroes. A shero is a woman admired or idealized for her courage, outstanding achievements, or noble qualities. A few months ago, the Women's Foundation requested statewide nominations for sheroes. Dozens were submitted, and I'd like to introduce you to two standouts, Yoli Cassis and Shanna Farmer. Yoli was nominated by Jody Hansen. Jody states, Yoli is a shero for so many. In 2015, Yoli founded Vive Wellness, a nonprofit that addresses the health, equity, and wellness needs of Latino youth who often face significant health disparities and lack of access to engaging physical activity. Vive works tirelessly to help bridge the gap between the underserved Latino communities and access to the outdoors and all the activities we have here in Colorado. Yoli has a gift of giving these children and families the confidence, access, and ability to experience engaging physical activity and learning about health and wellness. Many of them have earned jobs by receiving their lifeguard and/or swimming instructor certifications. All of these programs had been in person until COVID-19. Yoli's noble qualities really came through at this trying and uncharted time. She jumped into action as children and families found themselves scared, isolated, confused, and unsure of what was to come. Immediately, Yoli moved to help by creating new online counseling classes offered both in English and Spanish, free to all adults, serving 290 participants. Yoli also provided outreach, basic needs assistance, and most importantly, she provided youth after-school physical activity and mindfulness classes and adult community physical activity classes on an online platform. Yoli works tirelessly so that more underserved, low socioeconomic communities have access to quality, free, or low-cost physical activities. She has combined years of education and experience, both life and athletic, to provide opportunities and instill confidence for children and families. There's a huge health disparity between Latinos and Caucasian populations, and Yoli Casas is working to level the playing field. Shanna Farmer was nominated by her mom, Kathy Ames Farmer, and it's easy to see why. She is so proud of her daughter. Shanna is the president and CEO of United Way of Pueblo County. Born and raised in Pueblo, Shanna has dedicated her career to creating opportunity for her community through higher education, government, and the nonprofit sector. Shanna experienced a life-changing year in 2019. Within 5 months, she lost 3 of the most important people in her life, both grandparents, and very unexpectedly, her father. In September, she was named President and CEO of United Way of Pueblo County. The very next month, she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. But none of it stopped Shanna. Since COVID-19, Shanna has been hard at work leading her team and supporting Pueblo through this plight. She immediately established an emergency response and recovery fund. With her exceptional leadership abilities, UWPC raised $240,000 for the COVID crisis within just 2 months. The fund has already supported 29 local nonprofits during this pandemic. While her first year on the job did not go as planned, Shanna hasn't stopped. Shanna serves as a board member for the Pueblo Triple Aim Corporation, an organization dedicated to making Pueblo the healthiest county in Colorado. And she also serves for St. John's Newman Catholic School, where she advocates for all children to have a chance to access a quality education. Here are Yoli and Shanna.
Hola, Colorado. First, thank you so much for the Shiro Award. I'm so honored to have received it when there's so many beautiful Shiros in our community working hard towards our cause. For me, a Shiro is a woman, a young girl, a teenager with a lot of courage, passion, outspoken, a leader, and making things better for others, and making change happening, and opening doors for girls, for women and their families, fight towards inequality, racial inequality. So there's so many that we're blessed that here in Colorado we have so many Shiros, and I thank you for what you're doing.
I am truly honored and humbled to be named a Shiro this year. I especially want to thank my mom, Kathy Ames Farmer, for nominating me and sharing my story. She has been my Shiro my entire life. When I think about what it means to be a Shiro, I think of strong women committed to making positive impacts in their community, working together, building each other up, and overcoming challenges along the way. I have been so fortunate to have many Shiros in my life, both personally and professionally, and so it is a true honor to be named as a Shiro this year. Thank you.
When COVID-19 hit Colorado, the devastating effects were immediate. The pandemic is the greatest setback to gender equality in over a decade, creating a she session, widening gender gaps that have persisted for generations. Nobody in Colorado was unaffected, however, some were hit harder than others. Latina and Black women are not only feeling the economic effects most acutely, they're also more likely to die from complications, are at greater risk of losing their homes, and their children are most likely to be hungry and least likely to have technology for online learning. We had to act. In March, we created the Women and Families of Colorado Relief Fund to rapidly and responsibly distribute grants that address the emergency needs of Colorado women and their families most impacted by COVID-19. The impact was enormous. We made 108 grants to organizations serving women and families statewide. In just 4 months, WFCO raised and distributed more than $780,000, helping women access food and housing supports, domestic violence services, reproductive health services, and much more. This is one of the Relief Fund grantees, the Rose Andom Center.
We got into an argument over the phone about the kids. I was parked in the parking lot when he suddenly appeared out of nowhere. He picked up a rock and threw it through the passenger side window. He grabbed a large stick and broke out the back window. I was terrified, and the baby was crying.
He just seems to be everywhere. He shows up outside the kids' school when I pick them up. He comes by my work and asks to see me, or he waits outside for me. I'm afraid to make a scene. It would just turn out worse for me.
He kept telling me it was my fault. He hit me. And if I was not so worthless and stupid, it wouldn't happen. He told me he would make me homeless. I was afraid to stay and afraid to leave.
I try and just act like everything is normal, just to keep him calm. While I was holding our child, he started yelling at me, so close to my face. He punched me in my chest inside and then headbutted me and began punching walls in the home. I was so dazed I don't know how I didn't drop the baby.
Goodness, a domestic violence center sounds like a gift from the heavens. If I would have been able to go to one place to get what I needed, I would have felt so much better.
I've been stuck with this jerk for over 10 years and really didn't see a way out until that counselor called, which started me thinking that maybe I could escape. Especially since he was going to be in jail for a while because nobody could give him his bond. I didn't know anything about the court system until she explained it to me, and that made me feel a lot better.
I had told my sister that if anything had ever happened to me, like I turned up dead or missing, that John was the one to blame. He threatened to kill me so many times and had beat me so badly that I just became numb. Now he's the one who is hurting in jail. I'm not dead, and it's not going to happen again.
Rose, it's so good to see you. The stories in the video illustrate exactly why the Rose Andom Center is so important to our community and to the women and families experiencing domestic violence. It also illustrated beautifully why the Women's Foundation of Colorado is so proud to have been able to support the Rose Andom Center through one of our rapid relief grants given through the Women and Families of Colorado's Relief Fund. What I want to know, Rose, is why, with all you do in our community, you choose to support the Women's Foundation.
Well, Renee, first of all, I'd like to thank the Women's Foundation for all of your support of the Rose Andom Center. We really do appreciate it. It is very easy for me to give to the Women's Foundation because you have goals and principles that are very much in alignment with those of my own. You help women and their families live full, productive lives. And unfortunately, in the world today, there is still so much inequality. You know, a prime example is the wage disparity that exists. And we must all continue to work tirelessly until that time that women will be at par or even greater than what men earn. You know, when you pay me less than you pay Joe for doing the same job, I feel devalued. And I know that that is not true. Women are every bit as valuable as men. And minority women in today's world have a really long way to go to get to that level where they are equal in pay. The other reason, one of the other reasons, I have quite a few, but one of the other reasons I will mention is that I am very interested in leaving a legacy. A legacy that says that Rose Andom was a Black female entrepreneur, philanthropist that wanted to give back much more than she ever took.
Rose, you are living your legacy, so thank you. Thank you for your generosity and all that you are doing to move our mission forward. We are grateful for you. Thanks.
Listening is paramount. Listening to the low-income, marginalized communities and rural, those are the populations for whom health is furthest from reach. So that's who we're focusing on. If you have your health, you have everything. So why are we focusing on equity? Because we want everybody to have everything.
In DaVita, diversity and belonging is a part of who we are. This is seen through our diverse teammate population, resources available, as well as partnerships with organizations focused on diversity. We are also furthering our commitment to diversity and belonging by investing $3 million into our communities and teammates of color. You can learn more by visiting davita.com/community.
Noble Energy and its Noble Neighbor program salutes all women in Colorado and is honored to be able to support and sponsor organizations such as the Women's Foundation of Colorado.
I am so inspired by all the women we've met today.
I know, so many amazing, generous people.
Speaking of, let's meet everyone who made today's event possible.
Well, that's easy. Here's our WFCO board chair, Katie Kellen.
We are grateful to all of you, our luncheon guests, for joining us today in communities statewide. I would like to share the love of our many house party hosts holding gatherings in Fort Collins, Colorado Springs, Eagle, and more. We even have house parties as far away as South Carolina. It's so exciting to have you all with us. The Women's Foundation could not have put this event together without the support of our incredible sponsors. Special thanks to First Bank, our presenting sponsor, Rose Andom and Mary and George Sissel, who will match your donations today with their incredible generosity. Thanks to our Platinum sponsor, Goldbug, and to our Gold sponsors, the Barton Family Foundation, CBS 4, Molson Coors, and Excel Energy, and also Comcast and DaVita, our silver sponsors. We appreciate the support and passion of our luncheon chairs, Simone Ross and Kelly Duke, our hardworking luncheon committee, and our 2020 honorary chairs, Don Bookart, Kathy Hagan-Brown, Catherine Gold, Patsy Landaveri, Ben and Amy Valor-Kaplan, Tanya Ziegler, and Kenneth Ho. Finally, to our board, staff, and foundation leaders, we are so grateful for all you do every day to help us realize our vision, a future where Colorado women and girls of every background and identity prosper. Let's meet one of the women who is prospering because of your support. Here's Adrianette's story.
I find that on Saturdays and Sundays are my longer days to clean houses with cleaning up services. And I do the bathrooms, the jobs that I know they don't want to do, but I will do that since it is my business. It's hard work, which equals gratification, and I just love it, because I'm working for myself, and the harder I work, the better the pay is. but I had to sacrifice my mortgage payment for 90 days so that I can make the payments to my employees who were working for me. The reason why I came to Chic for the support was I would like to start doing post-construction cleanup. Chic has supported me in many, many ways. It's through training.
Good. Perfect.
Okay, got it going. Through certifications, through resume writing to help me with my bidding. Before I came to Chic, I didn't feel self-worthy because I felt I was stuck. The job training means to me self-worth. And I've never actually felt like that before, self-worth. Now that I am doing post-construction cleanup, my income could triple, and it's given me a little bit room to breathe. It has changed my life just drastically.
Hello, my name is Adrianette, owner of Clean It Up Services, and I wanted to give you an update on how I'm doing. First of all, I would like to give thanks to God, because without God, nothing is possible. As an African American woman, I have to be more than excellent. I have to be extraordinary. I would also like to thank Chic for helping me secure a PPP loan. I am fortunate to experience an increase in business because of the coronavirus, and I am excited to be buying a home. Bye.
Native American poet and incumbent U.S. Poet Laureate Joy Harjo wrote, "The world begins at a kitchen table. No matter what, we must eat to live. The gifts of the earth are bought and prepared, set on the table. So it has been since creation, and it will go on. We chase chickens or dogs away from it. Babies teethe at the corners. They scrape their knees under it. It is here that children are given instruction on what it means to be human. We make men at it, we make women. On hot summer days in segregated Atlanta, my playmates and I would roam the neighborhood, waiting for streetlights and voices calling us to the table, filled with the wafting smells of cornbread, vegetables, fried chicken, and fruit pies, accompanied with lemonade. No matter where I lived, family dinners were the norm. The table was the place where stories of the day, a lifetime, or the past, and hopes for the future were shared with joy, sorrow, and a few sibling squabbles. To this day, I think of any form of family or kitchen as love, a place for coming together and nurturing our bodies and spirits. For too many women and families around our state, their fridges and their spirits are empty, with little knowing of what the future holds. The kitchens themselves may be only temporary. As the days become weeks and months, those who stand unflinchingly in the face of risk on the front lines in rural towns and urban cities are primarily women. They are often women of color and or of immigrant and refugee backgrounds. It is low-wage women workers, often without benefits, upon whom we depend for our ability to eat to live, or simply to live. Restaurant and retail employees, small business owners, childcare workers, and teachers are women who are tapping into unrelenting grit or having to make unspeakable choices to put food on their family tables. That's why we are gathered as community now, to give philanthropy meaning as love for women and families, for Colorado, and for humankind, as we were taught at kitchen tables. The opportunity for us to transform as an American culture is undeniable. Commit yourselves not to the fear, but rather to the love, patience, and community of mutuality that is the heart of this nation's promise. The needs are great, and we need you. The women of Colorado who are on the front lines of our economy and our families need you. It is because we all carry memories of grandma's pot that was never empty, or a kitchen table that always had an extra seat, that we know the meaning of philanthropy, of loving, heartfelt generosity. We saw it, we felt it, we tasted its sweetness, and at the table, we never failed to give thanks. Thank you for taking a seat at our table. There's always room.
As Lauren said, the needs are great, and the Women's Foundation needs you. The women of Colorado who are on the front lines of our economy and families need you. Women are amazingly resilient, but opportunity always needed. You can help create that opportunity with your gifts today. If you haven't yet filled out your giving envelope or visited WFCO.org/give, please do it now. Together, we can help WFCO reach the matching dollars generously provided by Rose Andom and Marion George Sissel.
On CBS 4 this morning. Brit's back, and now Dominic Garcia joins her.
Welcome, Dom.
Ashton Altieri and Michaelia White. There's a lot more to come, so stay tuned to CBS 4 this morning, covering Colorado first.
I'm ready to write some code.
I'm ready to do what no one on my block has done before.
Forget that. What no one in the world has done before.
All I need is access, tools,
connections,
high-speed connections.
Since 2011, Internet Essentials from Comcast has connected millions of people from low-income homes to the internet, so they can be ready for anything.
At Molson Coors Beverage Company, we unite people to celebrate all of life's moments. And we believe in producing a beverage we can be proud of, from grain to glass. We're here for all of life's moments. And we come together to support each other during difficult times. Because we know every time a beverage is picked up, there is an imprint left behind. We're making sure it is a positive one.
Broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, but you can't find the fighter. But I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out and move mountains. We gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise like the day. I'll rise in In spite of the ache, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise high like the waves, I'll rise. In spite of the ache, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And for you, for you, for you, for you. When the silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe, I know you feel like dying, but I promise you we'll take the world to its feet. Ooh, mountains, we'll take it to its feet. Ooh, mountains, and I'll rise, rise like the day. I'll rise, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And for you, for you, for you. All we need is hope, and for that we have each other. Yes, for that we have each other.
Thanks for joining us. We certainly felt the love. The inspiration does not have to end here. There are so many ways that you can remain engaged with the foundation. So visit WFCO's website or check out your programs for a list of all upcoming events and how you can register. Thank you for your time today and your support of the women and families of Colorado.